Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. This is spiritual exercise entitled, What is it going to take? I remember a while back when I was coming up, when I first got out on my own, they had what you call alley mechanics. They don't have them too much now, mainly because most of the cars now, you touch them now, it defrauds your warranty and things of that nature. And a lot of the mechanics now have to go to school to even take out a spark plug. Now they so high tech and things. But then we had alley mechanics, and you could go to an alley mechanic. And I remember one we had in my area where I was hanging out and kicking on, and they can kick them out. And you would take your car to kick them out, and kick them out would tell you what it would take to fix that car. And he would charge you what it would take him to fix that car. And it was so interesting that he would tell you how much effort it would take. And people, I could remember how people would ask all the time, what would it take? And today we still in that same effect is what would it take to do such and such a thing? What would it take to do this or to do that? Even when we in times of distress, in time of need, in time of hurt, harm, and pain, in time of going through some things, in time of wanting to accomplish some things, the first thing we holler is, what would it take? What would it take to accomplish all that we need to accomplish in life? What would it take to get through this virus? What would it take for me to go through the bed of affliction? What would it take to walk through this Christian journey? What would it take? We asked all the time. But I want to tell you what it took. You see, because the Bible tells me that in the very first verse, it says, in the beginning. You see, I know that before the earth was formed, before the foundations of the earth was in place, before the stars were set in their orbit, before the planets were formed, before the sun was even cast into place, my Lord was sitting, and he and the God and the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost sat together and looked at one another, and they began to went down and discuss my very existence. You want to know when you get down and depressed, when you want to know how that nobody didn't care, if you want to know when you're all alone, how come it's so hard? How come that don't nobody help me? How come it seems like everybody done left me? How come it seems like so much is on me? Just remember that before everything was there, before anything ever happened, that before the test of time, outside of time, that there was a communion together that looked down through the 4 pages of history before you even began, that they knew that there was a day in November 18th, 2020, that this time would be here and you would need this question asked. What it took for him to come through all of that to be right there to say, I'm here. Take the next step. Today, remember, it's not what would it take, it's what it took for you to take the next step. This is our spiritual exercise.